we talk about Ultra internally, we think about it as an entertainment platform with many layers. First, we built out the tech necessary to make mainstream adoption possible, like our innovative easy blockchain accounts, and of course, the unique NFT standard. Now we're working on filling it with excellent content from companies who don't just want to distribute their titles with us, but want to do so exclusively. Today we're going to be talking about that first exclusive FPS game to launch on Ultra Games. It's called Elarium, and it's brought to you by the Avant Labs team. Chris and Oscar have joined us today to talk about what they have been building, and more importantly, why. So, let's get to it. Welcome, guys.
Well, thanks for having us, Rami.
My pleasure.
Can you tell me a little bit about Avant Labs? Where are you guys located? How long ago did you establish the studio?
Sure. All right. So Avant Labs is a company located in Switzerland. We started off as a project about 9 months ago, doing R&D, observing the space and other projects, how they're doing, what they're doing. And from there on, we started establishing, the legal basis, started building the team out of that. And Avant Labs is now developing an FPS game exclusively on Ultra, obviously. And it's been quite a journey so far, I have to say.
What kind of stuff have people in your team worked on in the past?
We've been very lucky and very blessed with getting a lot of super experienced people on the team over time, really just sharing our vision and what we had in mind for it, and they jumped on it and really liked it. So I'm super happy that we have, for example, 1/3 of our team, they have launched several AAA titles, each of them. Funny enough, mainly from Ubisoft actually, and have actually also worked together on these projects. So we've been able to get these people to come on board. And also another example of the experience in our team is, for example, we have a game producer on the team who has actually launched a mobile game which generates nowadays over $100 million in revenue per year, which is quite a serious game, right? On the other hand, we have a lot of really cool experience from the blockchain space. I myself started building and leading development teams for cryptocurrency projects in 2017 already, and did that until recently as part of building my own software development services company. And others on the team, other developers, etc. on the team, they built their experience through, providing development services to different crypto projects in the space over the last 1-2 years. And obviously also have extensive knowledge prior to that, but not in blockchain. And on the other hand, we still, we have, as I said before, a wide range of experience. So that means we don't just have experience in gaming and in blockchain, but we also combine experience from experts in motion capture, virtual reality, live streaming, all these kinds of fancy things that are happening, which we obviously going to utilize for the game. And also we got on board a fantastic cinematographer, for example, who's been actually featured by Epic Games in the latest State of Unreal yearly video. And also we have also, with Oscar, we also have music production, sound design on the team, which is a great addition. So I think we're covering a lot of different areas really nicely. And I'm really happy that we were able to build that team so quickly.
That's amazing. Could you guys actually quickly intro just yourselves? Because we introed the team before introing you.
Sure. Oscar, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Oscar Lindell. Originally started as a music producer, and funny enough, I was working with a bunch of different projects in multidisciplinary art, and got heavily into Python and seeing how basically making interactive art installations. And from that, started applying a lot of skills in project management. And one thing led into another, so I started connecting the dots between sound and art in general with being interested with blockchain. And then I connected with Chris, and we had a lot of connecting points and similarities in terms of vision. And yeah, one thing led to another. We started creating this beautiful project.
And yeah, so I'm Chris. I'm the CEO of Avant Labs, and together with Oscar and Josh, who is not here right now, who's our CTO, we're building kind of the core team of Avant Labs, and we all started working on this 9 months ago, as I said.
There's a lot of polarized feelings in the gaming industry today around, blockchain tech and NFTs. What do you guys think about the anti-NFT sentiment?
So yeah, in terms of the anti-NFT sentiment, I mean, I totally understand where gamers are coming from. They look at NFTs, NFT prices right now, blue chip NFTs and stuff like that. Even gaming NFTs going for thousands of dollars, and they fear that basically those nice and great games will over time all be locked behind a massive paywall, or companies will abuse NFTs to create this kind of even crazier microtransactions boom, basically, which is understandable. I mean, this is not something that I would say is will not be tried. I definitely see a few companies going that way. Our advantage is that we're an indie studio. We don't have to just focus on these things, right? So our idea of NFTs in games is a completely different one. For us, it's not about extracting value from players, but actually allowing them to retain that value, potentially grow that value without those huge buy-ins or necessarily mass microtransactions in the game, etc., which are, I think, the biggest fears of players, definitely. And I actually think that over time we will go to a trend of games, more and more games becoming free to play, like even AAA titles becoming more free to play, more accessible. I feel like this is going to be definitely part of that NFT trend. So in the end, it might actually work out much more in their favor than they think.
How does this kind of fit into your larger strategy for what you believe the future of gaming will become?
Why we chose NFTs and how that works for us. So I think that we really first of all, we had to understand how NFTs, what potential NFTs bring to us. So I'm obviously into the crypto space. I've been here since 2017. I've followed a lot of trends. I've been through the bear market with 99% losses. I've seen it all, and I've also been there when the yield farming started, when NFTs started to take off, the punks became bigger. So I've followed this trend quite heavily as a user, as an investor, and I feel like initially most people didn't understand what NFTs actually are, or what they can be used for, and they really saw it as some might still see it as a JPEG on a blockchain, but for us, like once it made click for me, I knew that I really wanted to build something that would fully utilize everything that NFTs have to offer, or at least most things that they have to offer, and really improve aspects of gaming through that, right? So that was my initial drive to start this. That started a year ago, actually, in my mind, and then we figured, okay, so what are NFTs actually? And I actually really very much agree with David on this. I think David said that in a podcast. NFTs are like programmable licenses, right? You have a built-in application that can handle all sorts of things automatically, including transactions, transactional logic, and they live in theory forever on the blockchain and can be consumed by any other service, like any other game or any other world or any other service that somehow thinks it can make use of your NFT, right? So if it's on the same blockchain, you can make use of it. So, which is a really big part, which was a really big aha moment in our journey, where we were like, damn, that's really cool. So that really triggered that whole spiral of going down the NFT rabbit hole and exploring what we can do with it. So for us, our vision is kind of twofold. So we want players, on the one hand, we want players to really be able to take the progress with them outside of our world, bring it into other worlds, bring it, wherever they want to bring it. And I think that's a big part for me. I grew up with being a pretty big nerd in World of Warcraft, to be honest. And I always hated losing progress, in the sense that, for example, in World of Warcraft Classic, I'm sure you know it if you're a World of Warcraft player.
I also lost 10 years of my life to World of Warcraft.
Yeah, so in the initial version, right, it was really hard to get some things. Like, it was really, really hard. You farmed months for one item. And then you got it. And then in the end, basically, there was a new expansion, and that completely kind of ruined everything you've done before, because you still had it in your inventory sometimes, not always, but you still had it in your inventory. You could still use it, but it was basically useless compared to other items, right? And I think that this enables players to really keep everything, like keep their progress, and potentially even, spin up their own instances of a previous patch if they don't like something. So I'm really a big fan of that, and this kind of open world idea. And on the other hand, for us, it's also important to embrace, creators, like, or the modding community, even to the point of embracing, event managers and stuff like that, because this, what we're building right now will allow artists, developers, modders, map designers, and like event managers, etc., to actually earn in our game through bringing value, creating a nice skin. For example, you bring a big brand into a game through a popular skin, or through a tournament that you create in our game. You start in our game, and then you should be rewarded, right? And that's all. Everything, all of this is going to be handled through NFTs as well in our game.
Oscar, I'm gonna pick on you here a little bit, because I think that
Please go ahead.
I think that there's some interesting overlap between music experiences. Where, like, we can talk about games as experiences, but we can also talk about other things like shows and concerts, and
Exactly.
music in general is an experience. And I think that when we talk about NFTs as a way to enable functionality within a license, you could talk about that within the context of music also. Is that something that you guys talk about within the context of Avant Labs?
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, the thing is, it's something that's being highly explored. I'm seeing it all around me. I mean, I'm based in Berlin, in Germany, and the amount of artists that I'm hearing all around me about, hey, how can I get into NFTs? Where's it going? And certain startups as well who are approaching it, and each from their own different perspective. I mean, there's no right or wrong way yet, but there's so many different opportunities with it. And I think what's really happening as well is actually it's a collaboration between different kind of arts. So you're seeing a big surge of, let's say, 3D artists starting to work together with sound artists or music artists, and seeing what they can create together. And not just like, okay, this is my project, I'm going to take it and try to do something, but let's see, how can we do something new and innovative and grow together and explore new territories? So it's definitely something really interesting. And I think there's a lot to explore, without doubt. And we cannot just limit ourselves by thinking like, oh yeah, NFT is an expensive JPEG, because yeah.
I think of the blockchain as kind of like a deployed version of collaboration. Like it's a place for people to work together without having to have some kind of like structure or hierarchy. And amazing stuff happens because people are free to do what they want to do. They're free to express themselves.
Yes, I think it's really really like a turning point in history. I think because it's like it's the next spark. When I realized what we can do with NFTs and the blockchain in general, like how that can change the landscape forever, was a big aha moment for me.
Well, we're all here for it, so let's talk about Elarium, the new game that you're producing. Can you tell us about, the core concept of the game? What's it going to be like?
On a surface level, we want to keep it fast-paced and fun experience that really gives a quick learning curve to the gamer, the player, when entering the game. But a good game is not as good without a good, strong story behind it. But what we're really focusing on is with the story is to be rich in its universe, to be expansive, but at the same time not distracting for the player within the gameplay. So we're having a lot of the story being told outside of the game around it, similar to how League of Legends have approached it. And on a macro scale, I would say that Elarium is not just going to be just a first-person shooter, but this would be our starting point. But our vision is for the universe to flourish and expand with this community where further iterations of the game will be added, keeping its core on being, of course, a first-person shooter game, but with composability being the focus in trajectory, where the community will have an effect on the development of the game. And so by combining this vision together with the mechanics of blockchain, we really see the possibility of creating a whole new kind of breed of games. I mean, not being the ones that create it, but being part of that new breed.
This is the first step. The second step is definitely building out the bigger world behind it. You can think of it like building out bigger hubs. So we're thinking about like MMO like hubs that basically you join a session, you play an FPS round, you come out of it, and you're actually in a like third person in a bigger MMO like world where you can explore different kinds of interactions, social interactions, fun gatherings, etc., with people, trading, etc. All of these things should be able. So this would be the next step that we're going towards, and then from there, I mean, anything is possible.
You'll be using NFT technology in the game itself. How's that going to work?
Players will not notice like a big difference between our game and a regular game, right? In the game itself, most things will look similar. You just have an additional, like you have your blockchain based account which receives all your NFTs, etc. in the game. But for you as a player, it really looks like seamless. You get skins, you can trade them. That's kind of our whole approach. So our skins, our NFTs will mostly be skin based, so mostly cosmetics, with some of them potentially being items in the game, but mostly skin based. And you can trade them, you can equip them just like in any other game. And then over time, what we're adding is, as we said before, like history. So history meaning you can have a player history, and you can also have a skin weapon, a weapon skin history, for example. You can imagine it like an advanced, if you know Counter-Strike, there's some skins that have a stat track attribute, which kind of stores how many kills have been made with this skin. And what we're doing is we're kind of bringing that to next level, storing more and more things on this skin, including kills, obviously, but also achievements, maybe some highlights that you actually did in a certain round that triggered this entry. So there's lots of possibilities that we have with that, and we're still exploring what else we can do with it. So yeah, it's just super exciting for us to develop these concepts.
There's some interesting functionality that we've been, talking about internally at Ultra for quite a while, where people can autograph NFTs. So if you have like
Yes.
a celebrity that comes in, or an esports player who's particularly good, particularly famous, and they play a game, they sign the gun, and then they pass it on to the next player. That's really interesting, unique functionality that, like, frankly, can't exist without blockchain and NFT tech.
Exactly. This is also what we're thinking about, and how we're gonna get that into the game flow. But we will definitely have something like that as well.
And I mean, can you imagine how amazing it is that you're playing a game, right? And so you finish a game, and you've gone through the rewards and built such a long history with a character, and then a new iteration of the same game comes out, and normally you would have to start from scratch again. But being able to potentially inherit what you have from a previous edition of the game and bring that over, that's what also NFTs, like blockchain technology, brings to the table. So it's just like opens a whole new kind of door of exploration.
Well, also from a business perspective, like, you guys are running a business that is a game company, but you're running a business, and that also means that you want to retain the players. There's a fact of loyalty which has to be part of the decision-making process that you guys go through.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about Ultra's partnership with Avant Labs. How is that going to play out?
Well, I mean, we've looked at lots of different options. The problem with almost all of them is they're really not made for gaming, right? I mean, obviously, everyone can recognize that Ethereum, for example, is not made for gaming and gaming transaction volume and speed and cost, obviously. So for us, Ultra was a choice because Ultra is a super established project. Like, I mean, if you're in the space for 3-4 years, then you are established in this young industry. So it's really credible. It's very credible. We had really good talks with David and Nicola, and also with Janneke. So it was just a pretty easy decision for us because it in terms of blockchain capabilities, it solves pretty much all our problems. And I have a good feeling that the team is able to deliver on the Ultra side, and that's what made us go with this option. I mean, there's similar projects to Ultra in some ways. None of them, I think, offer the whole suit that Ultra offers. It's more about the tech being right and the team being right.
I was going to ask about why you guys decided to go exclusively in Ultra, but I guess, hearing what you've been talking about, really, there isn't much choice. Like, when you're running a business, what you're actually doing is you're going and you're trying to select the right feature set for what you're trying to achieve, right? And there are no equivalent technology stacks out in the ecosystem right now that provide the features that you guys are looking for that will allow you to achieve your business goals, except for Ultra.
Yes, I mean, exactly. So for us, Ultra was really the only choice, and the best choice, definitely. And I'm super happy with it so far, and I think that we will have a super successful partnership. I have a really good feeling with it. Yeah.
We're also super happy with it.
Happy to hear that.
I'm always interested in hearing about how companies go about building blockchain-based products. We've been doing this at Ultra for years, and we really deeply understand the complexity that's involved. What is Avant Labs' process for building a game based on NFTs that will be, both innovative and fun?
Well, the thing is, with innovation, it's not just necessarily going to create fun experience just because it's innovative, right? So our goal since the beginning has not to just create an absolutely brand new feature and never done before product. Add to this the blockchain aspects, which creates those new possibilities in terms of community building, rewarding, and you have a product which is proven yet innovative. So throughout our research and development, and now our product and our production, we always went for creating a great game experience first, and then double checking with it to see that it fits in in the blockchain aspects and to tie in really well on the NFT side.
To add to that, maybe I would say it's a lot more challenging than most people think at the start. So developing a regular game is already a challenge, but developing a game with the NFTs and blockchain in mind and adding that complexity is I think a whole nother level, because it starts already before you actually start developing the game, right? You have to, the game design is not just game design, it's also blockchain design, tokenomics. All of these things need to come together in order to actually produce a successful product. Because if the tokenomics, for example, would be bad or not working, then the whole game will suffer as a consequence. So we had to balance this game design with blockchain related design, and we had obviously multiple people, but definitely one designated person just working on tokenomics for, I would say, 4 months, right? Researching everything you could possibly think of, and gathering all the different information that we needed. So it was definitely a lot of work that went into that, and into just getting the economic loop and the economics on the blockchain side. Combining this is really a huge challenge, I think, and I think people underestimate it. There are a lot of projects that go out, maybe underestimating how much of an impact that will have on their game. So they release a game, and I think it's and maybe not optimal, and then in the end they will actually potentially fail because of that. So I think this is really important to keep in mind.
That's why it's fun.
Yes, it's a lot of fun.
I wanted to give a big thanks to Oscar and Chris for coming on the show today. We at Ultra are super excited about Elarium and what it is going to mean for our ecosystem, our platform, and the larger community of gamers interested in this cutting-edge technology.